Hi everyone, and welcome to this Ulster University Destination Ulster session. This session is all about the BSc International Travel and Tourism Management program, which is designed to give you the key management skills to create an unforgettable experience in the worldwide and constantly evolving international travel and tourism industry. My name is Peter Bowen. I'm the course director for the International Travel and Tourism Management degree here at Ulster University. You have my email contact details on screen there, should you wish to follow up after you've heard from this particular session. You also have the relevant Twitter IDs there as well. So if you wish to follow the main Ulster University account on Twitter, or indeed myself as course director for this area, please feel free to do so. The relevant hashtag in relation to this particular course is ITTM for International Travel and Tourism Management. So to give you an overview of what the session is going to cover, it will be looking at why travel and tourism in general is an area of study and an area of employability in future. Why travel and tourism at Ulster University in particular. Give you a bit of an overview of the degree programme itself and what that involves. Talk about some important areas such as student support while studying on a course like this, and also, of course, the important area of future careers and employability. So just to give you a flavour of what this session will cover. So we'll move in first then to why international travel and tourism management in general is something you might wish to consider. It's very much a global industry. It's a global industry fueled by the human desire for experiences. And that has meant that tourism has had a huge global impact. It had reached the point by 2019, just before COVID, where we had reached 1.5 billion international tourists traveling the world each year. That meant tourism had grown to such an extent that it was at that point accounting for 1 in 10 jobs globally around the world, and had become a key driver on a global basis of economic growth as well. Now, as we're only too aware, the COVID pandemic affected all industries, and industries like tourism, of course, and the ability to travel in particular. We're now at a stage, of course, where things are now recovering, and tourism has always been a resilient industry and a very innovative one that it has adapted to different aspects of disruption, different macro trends, and so on that has affected it. So we're seeing tourism well on the road to recovery at the moment. And we are destined to see it not only return to the kind of levels that we'd seen by 2019, but within a few years getting back to even building further and growing further beyond that as well. What that has allowed us to do in beneficial terms as an industry is to look at new opportunities and how we develop and how we adapt to things as we go forward. It has led to ideas for new business models in terms of how we structure different elements of the tourism industry. It's very much led to a refocus on the whole aspect of digital engagement, and going hand in hand with that, various aspects of environmental sustainability as well. And we've seen a whole refocus initially on domestic tourism and what the media sometimes likes to call the staycation, and how important that has been to tourism in the early stages of recovery that way. So those are things that have become much more apparent and much more important during the last few years, but they are things that are now helping tourism and the industry to adapt, and in terms of informing it, as it were, how it grows forward in that sense. Here in Northern Ireland, where the course is based, Northern Ireland's economy has been very much driven by the tourism industry in recent times as well. We reached the point where we were getting over 5 million visitors in 2019. We had reached at that point for the first time tourism generating over £1 billion in terms of revenue, so very significant economically, contributing in the region of 5.6% of GDP, gross domestic product, so making tourism a very healthy component of the country's economy, reaching the point of having almost 10,000 hotel rooms available at any one time. The Giant's Causeway on the north coast very much had become cemented as Northern Ireland's top leading visitor attraction in terms of visitor numbers. And Northern Ireland had been receiving a lot more attention and receiving a much more positive international image and winning lots of accolades and awards for that as well. One good example of that was when Belfast and the Causeway Coast were declared as Lonely Planet's top region to visit in 2018. So out of all regions in the world, Belfast and the Causeway Coast was rated as the #1 to visit in 2018 there. Building on that further, we have seen in recent times some very specific aspects of tourism helping to showcase globally the best of what Northern Ireland here has to offer, and very much adding to Northern Ireland's traditional tourism product that way. And 3 of those areas in particular have been food tourism or food and drink tourism, film or screen tourism, and golf tourism. And Northern Ireland has been developing very strongly with its tourism in relation to all 3 of those. The food and drink aspect of Northern Ireland has grown tremendously in recent years. The quality of a lot of our artisan food and drink produce has been winning awards both locally, nationally and internationally that way, and has become much more of a feature of Northern Ireland tourism that way. Film and screen tourism is another area of tourism that has grown enormously in recent times, in particular thanks to the worldwide success of the television show Game of Thrones, which has showcased Northern Ireland scenery to the world through that very successful award-winning television show. But there are lots of other examples of film and TV shows around that now produced and shot in Northern Ireland, which are helping to attract tourists as well. And golf tourism, which has been an important part of Northern Ireland's tourism product for some time now, but particularly in the past 10 to 15 years, given the high profile of our top golfers from Northern Ireland, the top rankings of our best golf courses, and the fact we've been hosting much higher profile competitions, such as the Open Championship, which came to Royal Portrush in 2019 and will be returning again in 2025. Those have been tremendously important for the image of Northern Ireland and for development of its tourism product as well. So those are just 3 important examples of how tourism here has been developing that way. Those have been further integrated into wider context. The body responsible for marketing the entire island of Ireland to overseas international tourists, Tourism Ireland, their first new campaign in recent years was called Fill Your Heart with Ireland. And as part of that global campaign, they identified what they call 6 consumer passion points to attract tourists to come to Ireland. And those 6 consumer passion points are views and landscapes, living culture, built heritage, food and drink, soft adventure, and television and movies. So you can see some of the key things associated with Northern Ireland that we mentioned previously there, highlighted within some of those 6 key consumer passion points as part of that Tourism Ireland global marketing campaign. So that's some context in relation to the travel and tourism industry, both globally and locally here in Northern Ireland. What about international travel and tourism management at Ulster then as an area of study, as a qualification? So I'm going to start on that aspect by giving you a little bit of insight into the course content itself here at Ulster University, and then we'll focus that out to other connected areas to that. So in the first year, you'll study the modules highlighted in red there on screen at the moment. So in the first semester, you'll study media, creativity and experience, global travel destinations, and introduction to the leisure and tourism side of things. In the second semester of first year, you'll study contemporary tourism, management and action, and food tourism, festivals and events. So as you can see, it's very much a blend of key travel and or tourism focused modules combined with other areas of importance, such as the whole aspect of media and creativity, which is a very important area of skill and knowledge to have to be employable these days in most industries, certainly very much so in the travel and tourism industry. And that whole emphasis on media and creativity very much runs throughout the entire course. And you have other support modules there, such as management and action. It is a management degree as well at the end of the day, so you will study a number of key business and management modules as you go through the course as well. In year 2, highlighted in red there, you'll study areas such as transportation operations and tourism, business research methods, contemporary marketing, people management, accounting studies, and landscape change in tourism. So again, you can see there are a number of key tourism modules, transportation covering all modes of transport with a particular focus on the airlines and airport management side of things. Landscape change in tourism very much looked at the whole area of responsible tourism, sustainability, and how we manage tourism itself, but the landscape in particular for tourism, how we manage that in a sensible and sustainable way these days. Again, combined with introducing you to more of those core management and business type modules in the second year. And while the name suggests that they are very business focused, the examples and the assessments that you do will still be very much tailored to the travel and tourism industry within the context of areas such as marketing, people management, and so on. Year 3 is normally a year's placement in industry or the opportunity to study abroad, which I'll say a bit more about shortly. And then the final year, the year 4 that you would come back to, covers areas such as e-business strategy, the whole digital side of tourism. We look further at some contemporary issues affecting tourism at the current time and in the near future. You also study creating visitor experiences, the very important area of tourism planning, development and management. So tourism planning at all levels, from planning at site level for perhaps an individual visitor attraction, right up to planning for tourism at the national and international level, such as a tourist board might be doing, and so on. You'll also choose to do an individual project in final year, what we used to call a dissertation. These days it takes the form of either what we call a research paper, or if you're more entrepreneurial minded at that stage in final year, you can undertake it in the form of what we call a business plan as well. And then you will then take one of the core business and management areas that you studied in year 2, and you will choose to specialize in one of those at a more focused management and strategic level at the end of final year, either management accounting, contemporary marketing management, or managing talent and productivity, that one following on from people management in year 2. So that just gives you a flavour of some of the key subjects and modules that you would do throughout this course in international travel and tourism management. Now, during the course, you get the opportunity to conduct real consultancy work on live projects with industry organisations. One very good example of where you get to do that in particular is in final year with the e-business digital strategy module, where in small groups you get assigned and work with actual travel and tourism industry organisations, where you get to analyse their current digital presence. You work with them on creating new digital aspects and concepts, including things like video creation and so on, social media strategy, etc. You pull all of that together into a wider new digital strategy for the company, and you then pitch that in teams at what runs like a kind of Dragon's Den type event, where you pitch what you've come up with to a panel of industry experts, including a manager or director from the industry business that you've been doing the consultancy work with as well. And there are a number of prestigious industry awards that go with that kind of assessment as well. So not just competing for your grades, but competing for those important industry awards as well, which really enhance your employability if you get to have those on your CV and your profile. So this is very much a course that doesn't just ask you to do written reports, essays, those kinds of assessments. There may be some of those, of course, but a lot of the assessment work is quite practical and does give you that all-important opportunity to actually network and get involved with industry businesses for real and conduct actual consultancy work with those businesses. So those kind of live digital business projects we feel are very important to enhance your qualification, your learning, your development, and really make you highly employable in the industry these days. Those carry with them, and that was just one example. This happens across a number of modules in the course from year to year. You get that opportunity to compete for industry awards as well. And of course, that can really enhance your CV and your profile. One example there from a student in recent years, Karen, who had done her final year consultancy work that way with the business the Bushmills Inn, an award-winning hotel on the north coast of Northern Ireland here, where they had redesigned their digital strategy and key digital tactics for them. And in fact, they had won one of those prestigious industry awards that year from the Origin Digital company that way. So that was just Karen posting on her social media on the LinkedIn platform how delighted she was to have had that opportunity to do the consultancy, but obviously even more delighted that their group had won that important industry award that way. You will also, on a course like this in International Travel and Tourism Management, get the opportunity through many of our industry contacts and partners to benefit from a host of volunteering opportunities. So that can be at a number of golf events and tournaments each year. And we particularly had a great opportunity for our students in 2019 with the Open that way, and that will be happening again in 2025 as well. We also have annual food and drink festivals and events and those kinds of things as well, where again, as you can see in the images there, where students in this program get the opportunity to volunteer and take part in those important events and look very closely then at the tourism impact that they're having, what goes into organising and maximising the tourism impact from those as well. And that really, again, adds value to your CV and your profile. Those are the kinds of things that employers take note of, and that will enhance your employability as well. Those kinds of volunteering opportunities also take place at some of our leading visitor attractions. You can see in the image on screen there at the moment, where a number of our students from the programme took part in a volunteering element to an event that was happening at the Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland's top leading visitor attraction that way, where our students from the Travel and Tourism Programme got to work at that particular event, which included visits from around 90 school pupils in Northern Ireland. So our volunteers from the programme that way had a great opportunity to work with those young people in terms of their interest in tourism in the future and so on as well. Another key part of the programme is that we do take you out as often as we can to visit the industry. So there'll be site visits and field trips and so on to various tourism locations. There you have a photograph from our students visiting the new Game of Thrones studio tour visitor attraction not long after it opened. They'd been studying in class with myself about the whole area of film tourism and screen tourism, looking at Game of Thrones as a very successful case study example of that. And then we took them along to give them the opportunity to see how that then is put into practice in terms of that creation of that new leading visitor attraction in Northern Ireland, all to do with film tourism and screen tourism and Game of Thrones. And they not only got to experience it then as a visitor, but got some important talks from the management staff at the visitor attraction itself. So again, it's just bringing alive what you're studying in class and seeing how that then is realised in terms of actual, in that case, visitor attraction management. Degrees also designed, as we said, to include a placement year or a year's study abroad. So in your third year, you can go out into industry for a year. We have contacts with lots of companies, both at home and abroad, all around the world, where you can get a year's experience. You get an additional diploma for that, a diploma in professional practice as well. And that can really boost and enhance your employability upon graduation as well. You can also opt in that third year if you wish, rather than working in industry, to study abroad for a year. So we have connections across Europe, we have connections in North America, where you can go and study in a European or American university for a year, taking further tourism related modules and enhance your profile and studies that way as well. All of that can help boost what we call your specialist and your transferable skills to make you highly desired at home or abroad when you do graduate. And in terms of career opportunities, we've seen many of our graduates in the past 10 years go into these areas in particular. So from tourism marketing, digital marketing and strategy, into visitor attraction management, airport operations, various aspects of tourism planning. And although this course is not geared specifically to these areas, a number of our graduates have gone on to work very successfully in event venue management and also hotel management as well. Why might you consider Coleraine in particular for travel and tourism, or travel and tourism management degree is based at the Coleraine campus? Well, we're situated in a major tourism region. It's a region of great spectacular scenery, some amazing beaches. It's a hugely significant area for leisure activities such as surfing and so on. So, you know, you're studying tourism in an area that is very much cemented as a major tourism region. We have some very modern state-of-the-art facilities on the Coleraine campus, both in general and related to this area of study. We place a high emphasis on this course on digital media, everything from social media, mobile applications to digital connectivity, video creation, wider digital strategy, and so on. And that's so important to this industry these days. And knowledge in those areas will make you highly employable. We have some very highly qualified and experienced staff. All of our staff teaching you will have tourism or related qualifications at postgraduate level. A number of us, myself included, have also worked in the industry in the past as well. And again, quite a number of us, myself included, do regular consultancy work with the travel and tourism industry too. So we can bring the very latest things that we're doing that way into the classroom in terms of what we teach you and help you to develop your knowledge on. We've very strong links with industry organisations, and that can help with everything from good placement opportunities for you to bringing in those people to give talks to you on campus, to also taking you out, as I said earlier, to industry site visits and field trips, and so on. So plenty of opportunities that way, including, as we said, particularly in final year, the opportunity to do live consultancy with some of those industry organisations as well. We also place a high emphasis on mentoring, support and guidance. We do have to challenge you in any degree course, but you're not on your own. We do provide a lot of support and guidance and a lot of mentoring to help you as well. And that's something we very much place a strong emphasis on in Coleraine on a course like this. With regard to that student support at Ulster University, we do place a big emphasis on our student mentor scheme in particular. So normally we have a number of second year students. When they're in their second year, they will act as mentors to our new first year students. So when you first come in the course, you'd be assigned a mentor from year 2. And they're there as a point of contact to help you settle in during the first semester and even throughout the whole of the first year. And not only are they there as a point of informal contact to meet from time to time, have a chat with, have a cup of coffee with, and so on, they also several times a year will take more structured workshops with you as well in terms of helping you with your first pieces of coursework and so on. And who better to do that and give you some advice than our own students who've been doing the kind of work you'll be doing just that year before. So there's a lot of important mentoring going on, particularly from our own students that are that little bit further on in the course from where you would be. In terms of future careers, we mentioned a little bit about that already. Everything from tourism marketing to airline management, visitor attraction management, tour operating, including specialist areas of tour operations like Gulf tourism, for example, digital tourism managers, event managers, hotel management, and so on. So a course like this really does keep your options open. It gives you such a huge varied range of potential roles and potential sectors you can go into, because travel and tourism is such a varied and dynamic industry that way. In terms of showcasing some examples of good practice, some examples from recent years, Rosie Henderson. Rosie graduated from our degree in international travel and tourism back in 2017. And Rosie is now the market manager for the UK and Ireland for Expedia, which I'm sure you know is one of the world's largest and most successful digital tourism organizations that way. So Rosie has done exceptionally well. Within 3 to 4 years of graduating, she had got to that point of being the UK and Ireland market manager for Expedia, and mainly through not just what she studied in the course generally, but particularly those modules in media and creativity, that final year e-business digital strategy module where you do the consultancy on the digital side of things with live industry businesses. Rosie's group had won the award that year. She was able to talk about that at interview and so on. Samantha, slightly more recent example, Samantha graduated from this degree in July 2021, and actually within a few weeks of graduating secured a management job as the digital marketing manager at the Causeway Hotel just beside our leading visitor attraction here on Northern Ireland's North Coast. So Samantha, another good example again on the digital side of tourism, and her group had won one of those prestigious industry awards in final year as well for their work that way, and that really helped Samantha secure that good management position, as I say, just within a few weeks of graduating from the course. So both Rosie and Samantha, great examples there of graduate success that way. Another good example from slightly earlier is Claire Moles. Claire is a past tourism student from our department at Ulster University as well. And Claire is now head of marketing for the new Game of Thrones studio tour visitor attraction in Northern Ireland, which I mentioned earlier. And there you can see a screenshot of Claire actually being interviewed on Sky News about the opening of that new visitor attraction. So Claire was a tourism student probably about 12 years ago, so a little bit longer ago, but again, just a very good example of graduate success that way. Now heading up marketing for one of our leading visitor attractions and one of our newest visitor attractions in that way. So the Coleraine campus, as I mentioned earlier on, is where this course is situated. It has very modern teaching facilities. We have the Riverside Theatre on campus. We have a multi-million-pound state-of-the-art sports and leisure complex as well on campus. It's an ideal part of the world. If you're an outdoor lover, there's lots of surfing, water sports, walking trails, must-see tourist attractions and leisure activities and so on as well. And the campus is very close to both seaside resort towns of Portrush and Portstewart that way. So it is a fantastic part of the world to live, work and study in that way as well. To sum up, this course really does give you the management skills and knowledge to get involved in this very dynamic and interesting travel and tourism industry. You're learning all that important travel and tourism industry knowledge along with key business and digital and media skills as well. There's lots of support and aspects available for you that way. You get a lot of real world experience through site visits, field trips, the opportunities to do consultancy work and so on with industry. And our career opportunities, we've been through there several times. You can see them listed again there on the table on screen, but lots of varied career opportunities from a qualification like this. And it is a course also accredited by what we call the Institute of Hospitality. So it is a course that is industry recognized in that wider sense as well. Just to point out, our courses are continually reviewed and updated, so we do that on a regular basis as well. So please be aware that modules might change for your year of entry, but by and large, you'll have seen what the current course structure is through this session here. If you do need more information of a general nature, you can contact the university and follow them also at study@ulster.ac.uk. In relation to that, there'll be a number of other more general sessions like this available on that wider information with regard to applying through UCAS and so on. So thank you very much for your attention as part of this Destination Ulster event. That is just to give you a lot more information with regard to international travel and tourism generally, and in particular, or degree in international travel and tourism management at Ulster University's Coleraine campus, and hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you in future if you do make that your choice and your destination in terms of career. Thank you.